Hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining me today. Today I wanted to talk about my five must-have items when I go moto camping. Now, these aren't going to be your usual tent, sleeping bag, sleeping pad. I know everyone has to take that stuff. These are a few things that I take with me because I think it makes camping that much better. So some of these provide comfort, some of these are just out of convenience, and others provide entertainment when maybe it's a little bit harder to find things to do, like when it's raining. So anyway, stick around and I'll tell you what my 5 must-have moto camping items are. Okay, the first item I always make sure I have with me is a tent lantern. It's a little bit big, but I prefer this over a headlamp, and here's why. For this particular lantern, it pops up and I can hang it from a carabiner in the center of my tent. And it's really easy to find this button even in the dark. It provides light throughout the entire tent, and if I have to get up for any particular reason, it makes it much easier to find things. Headlamps have directional light, and there's probably ways I could hang it, but I have found this to be much easier. It takes, this particular one takes 3 AAA, and just a quick note of what I do is I always turn this middle battery backwards so that in my camping stuff the button doesn't get pushed and turn the light on. So this is one of my absolute must-have moto camping items so that I can see at night, especially if I have to get up for any particular reason. One of my other must-have items is not going to be that unusual, but the reason why it's important to me is the Stanley Pot. Now, many of you may already have one of these, and what I like about this is, of course, you have the nested cups in it, but more importantly, my little butane propane stove fits nicely in the top here. So I can keep it nested, and I know as long as I have this, I will always have my stove. So I always make sure I have the Stanley Pot, and that way I know I've got my propane stove. So that's one of my other must-have items. This must-have item is a little different. It is one of these Swiss Army spoons, forks, and knife sets. Now, I bought this a few years ago. I thought it was gimmicky. I thought it'd be fun to take with me, just because it was unusual and everything was put together in one package. It turns out I use this thing all of the time. I use the spoon, I use the fork, and of course the knife. Every bit of it. It was gimmicky when I first got it, but it has become my go-to eating utensil. Now, the one thing I will say, and you'll see here, is that if you're right-handed, when you go to push down, the fork bends in the wrong direction. But that can be easily fixed just by putting your finger on the fork itself, and then it keeps it from folding up. So, yeah, this was gimmicky, but it became one of my must-have items. So whenever I go camping, I always make sure I have this with me as well. Alright, my second must-have moto camping item is this pillow. Now, this isn't just any ordinary pillow that I use for my head, but this particular pillow serves a special purpose. This is my designated leg pillow. I have to have a pillow between my legs when I sleep. It keeps my legs from touching, it keeps them from getting sweaty, it keeps my knees from banging together, it aligns my hips so that my spine's a little bit more straight, and I've been sleeping like this forever. So I have to have this pillow with me whenever I travel. Okay, so this next item is more on the entertainment side of things. When I go camping and go out to the woods and spend some time away, I'm not a person that feels the need to be disconnected from my electronics. Yeah, I don't have service everywhere I go. Most places in New Mexico, when you go camping, you don't have service. But there is one thing that I always take with me to provide some entertainment, and that is my tablet. No matter where I go, I always take this with me because I can download stuff to watch. This is particularly useful if you get caught in a rainstorm And the only thing you have to do is lay in your tent. I'm not much for reading, so I don't bother bringing a book, but you could read from this. But it also gives me an opportunity to catch up on things that I want to watch. Say like, I wanted to watch Love is Blind for the second time, but don't want to be judged at home. What better place to do it than in the privacy of my own tent? I also have used this to download video and do some editing. So it provides multiple purposes. I really enjoy when I go camping to climb in my tent early at night. I don't usually have a fire, especially right now because fire bans are in all the forests. So I'll crawl on my tent early, watch a couple episodes of whatever show it is I'm watching, and then crash out. So yeah, my tablet is one of my must-have items. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you found this entertaining and maybe a little bit useful. If you have any must-have items that maybe I didn't talk about or didn't list that are outside of the normal, then leave that in the comments below. I'd like to see what everyone else thinks is a must-have, must-take item. So, I hope this inspires you to get out and do some camping and riding, and I will see you out there.
Camping, I always make sure I have this with me.
I have to have a pillow between my legs when I sleep. It keeps my legs from touching, it keeps them from getting sweaty, it keeps my knees from banging together.